Hi, welcome to Simply Country Cuisine. I'm Susie. Well, today what we're gonna make is, and I've tried to come up with a name for it, I'm gonna call it a Margherita Pepperoni Panini. And it's kind of a cross between a freezy salad with tomato, basil, and mozzarella. And I actually am using a sliced mozzarella, not the whole ball. I thought it would melt better in the panini press. And I'm using sourdough bread and balsamic vinegar. And back on the stove here, I have some tomato basil soup heating up. Now that I will make later on another show, but we're gonna have the Margherita pepperoni paninis with basil soup for dinner tonight. And I think it's gonna be relatively easy. Keep fingers crossed. Because I was thinking, instead of just outlining the bread with butter, I have softened a stick of butter here. I'll start with a half a stick, see how that looks. And I have some fresh garlic here. I'm going to hopefully not drop one of these knives on my toes. Smash it, and then I want to mince it really fine. I do love garlic, and it's so good for your digestive system. You could probably grate this to get it a little more fine. I think dicing it will be okay tonight, but you don't want real big hunks in it, because this is what I'm going to put on the outside of the bread. Okay, let's add this to our half a stick of butter and see how that looks. And then we're just gonna smush it together. I think we should probably use a whole stick. That'll be an awful lot of garlic. Although we like it, we just don't wanna burn it. And I have my little press heating up here. Remember, it's gotta be hot when you put the sandwich in. All right, you see that well? Okay, now what we're gonna do is get a couple slices of our bread. And on the bread, put mozzarella on both slices of bread, because it's kind of like the glue. I went to the deli and I got the large pepperoni. I'll put 3 slices on, one for each sandwich. And I've got this nice big, these beautifully big red tomatoes, but let me say this. These are hothouse tomatoes. These are grown inside of a greenhouse. They don't have a real pungent smell like tomato. This is grown on the vine outside. I'm actually going to use this one. I like the smell of my tomato. So I'm going to slice me up probably about that thick. Put about 3 slices of tomato on. Now I would probably only put maybe 2 of those. I want my tomato to smell like a tomato. Now on top of this, I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of balsamic vinegar, not a lot. Just a little bit, okay. And I am going to very sparingly sprinkle a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, just a pinch, all we need. And then we can lay the other side. Now, this is gonna be tricky. I'm going to smear some of this garlic butter on my bread. And you can see this is hot. So to get the butter on the other side, I'll go ahead and put this on. And then I'll put the butter on this side of the bread. You can put some basil on it if you want. Roll it up and chiffonade and put some on. I'm making this one for Mark. I don't think he'd want that one on there. So the next one we make, we can put the basil on. So I'm going to press, because the Margherita pizza does have tomato, mozzarella, and basil on it. But I don't think Mark would care for that flavor too much, and I want him to have this one. I'm going to turn it a little bit. I can get the other side a little flatter. Give it another little squeeze. All right. Now, I'm going to get a plate while this is finishing off, and we will cut into the sandwich. And then we'll do one with the basil, and that'll give us 2 different flavors of our Margherita pepperoni panini. All right, let's see if I can get this out. That looks really good. Now let's make one with the basil leaves. Okay, the same thing. We'll get 2 slices of bread. But let's chiffonade. Let's not put the whole leaf on it. Again, even for Dina and Robert and myself, I just don't think we would eat it with that much of the basil on it. So we'll just roll it a little bit and give it a chiffonade. We're just making ribbons. And I did wash this. I had to buy it at H-E-B this morning, and it was a little difficult, but it comes in a cup. It was weird. It comes with the root and everything. Okay, let's do the same thing. Let's add 2 pieces of cheese, top and bottom. We'll put on, I think we put 3 pieces of pepperoni on. We'll put some tomato on. Now this time, we'll take a little bit of the basil. Now, if you like a lot of it, feel free to load it down, but I am just going to be very sparingly with it. Basil is very pungent. And again, a little drizzle of the balsamic vinegar. A little salt and pepper, just a pinch. Put our lid on. Smear some of our butter on it. And I'll get the other side. All right, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just hold the lid down until it cooks it. And remember, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be alerted on Wednesdays when our videos are aired. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna turn it and get it flat on the top. Ooh, that one's pretty nice and toasty on that one. I'll give it another little squeeze. There we go. And I will get my plate again. Now remember, one has basil and one does not. Now let me cut into this. I like paninis because it makes the sandwich flat. It's so much easier to eat. All right, well, let's look at the difference. This is the basil. You see a little green in it, and this one you don't. And that's what our Margherita pepperoni panini looks like. Now, if you come back in a second, I'll dip up some soup. We'll dip it in some soup and see how that tastes. Okay, we're back. I've got my tomato basil soup, and we will do this in the next few weeks or so. We're going to start making soups because we are getting, and I am actually going to try a piece with the basil in it. That's very good. The crust on the bread is browned really good. It's crunchy, and the tomato basil is a real good accent, a very tasty accent with this because of the basil and the tomato and the sandwich and everything. But it's really easy. It kind of reminds me of a little handheld pizza. So always remember to subscribe, like, and share our videos. You'll be alerted on Wednesday when our next video airs, and it comes on YouTube, and we're also on Facebook, and I think we're also on Instagram now. Just look up Simply Country Cuisine, and you'll see a picture of me on there. And if you don't have a place to worship, please join us at any one of our Glad Tidings churches. 5 churches, or 1 church, 5 locations, Central Texas, and we would love to welcome you at any one of them. And the weather is starting to get cooler, apparently in Texas. It was 71 degrees this morning, and there we have a warm soup and a nice sandwich for dinner. God bless and have a great evening.